Alan and the giant clam. All right, so about 9 years ago, my birthday's rolling around, and this friend of mine who's like a mega heiress calls me and she's like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" And I was like, "Effing nothing. I was just not in the mood that year." And she goes, "I have a plan." And I said, "What's the plan?" She said, "I want to buy you an ayahuasca ceremony." And I said, "Oh, no, 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 sis. I've scrambled my eggs enough time. I've done the Lucy and the mushies and the mesqui and the peyote. And I think I've scrambled my eggs enough for one lifetime." She goes, "No, no, it's life changing. It's going to be amazing." And I'm like, ugh, fine. Who's going to be there? So she's like, "My dad'll be there." And I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "And his trophy wife." And then I've got this shaman who turned out to just be like a D dealer from like Huntington Beach named Chad or something. And she's like, "And my boyfriend." And I'm going to have this Vedic astrologer. And I'm like, "All right, where is it?" And she's like, "Oh, it's at my boyfriend's house in Beverly Hills," which is this like Japanese minimalistic grand estate. So I show up there, and this fake shaman guy who's like in all white with the smelly beard has us take the stuff. We do the shot of it, and in short order, we're doing La Purga, the Purge. And I heard it was bad. There's no, you have no idea how much worse it was than I ever imagined. So I'm like on the can, so I'm like on the toilet, projectiling while projectile vomiting into the bidet next to me. Not for 15 minutes, but for hours, just puking, and it was freaking miserable. And it was so brutal. Like I felt like my ribs were broken. Like I was pulling muscles in my back and my guts, and I'm just in hell. And everyone hates it. And the trophy wife is just like crying, and it's my natural instinct to help people. So I'm just like, "It's gonna be okay. It's just a drug. It's gonna pass." And the shaman's just like, "Don't talk to her. Everyone has to go through their own thing to get alone." And I'm just like, ugh, whatever. And then you had to bring your own pillow and blankets, and you were supposed to stay in your nest. But I didn't want to stay in my nest. I didn't want to smell vomit and hear crying people. So I was like, "Hey, I'm going to go outside." And they're like, "You need to stay in your nest." And I'm like, "It's my trip. I'll do whatever I want." I was like, "I'm not running off somewhere. I'm going to be on that day bed right outside, and I'm going to look up at the stars." So the guy's like, "No." And I'm like, "F off." So I go outside and I lay with my arms out like Christ on the day bed, and I'm kind of parting the heaven with my brain. And the clouds open up, and I'm looking at the stars, and sure enough, the mother ayahuasca came to me. She had this really gentle voice, and she's like, "Hey." And I go, "Oh, you were real." She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Listen, you got to do X, Y, and Z. You need to go see your parents." And I was like, "Why?" And she gave me this whole like bit. And I had the most harrowing, frightening hallucinations. Like, if you ever look at ayahuasca art, it's always the same color. It's like the limited in the 80s. It's like fluorescent pink, yellow, green, just vomit day glow colors. And there were these chrome monkeys that were mocking and laughing at me, which I hated. Anyway, finally, I went to sleep. And we're all sleeping in the same living room. And then I wake up on the sofa. And shaman rings his little yoga bell, ping, bing, 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 and says, "Okay, we're now beginning our second ceremony." And I'm like, "What the F is this guy talking about? I don't want to do anything else." And I was like, "Please let one of the ladies in the room like say that they don't want to do it so we can all bow out." And nobody did. And so the second ceremony was with this other awful stuff called San Pedro. And I was like, "What is this stuff?" They're like, "It'll restore your masculine energy. The ayahuasca was the feminine divine. This is the masculine divine. This is what like Peruvian fighters would take, warriors would take before they went to war. And it will restore all of your chi." So I'm just like, ugh, fine. I do another shot of that. I start yakking again, all like outside this time in the bushes. And it wasn't as bad as the IO, but it was still awful. Anyway, that one wasn't as long. That was a couple of hours. Then I'm just like, this is hell. And my whole body hurt. My guts hurt. My intercostal muscles between my ribs hurt. My low back hurt. Everything hurt just from puking. So finally, without telling anybody, I called the Hotel Bel Air, and I was like, "I'm going to spoil myself." So I was like, "I would like a 2 hour aromatherapy massage in the Enclave Suite," which is this special room with a waterfall and a bathtub and everything. And it was expensive. So I say to the guy who owns the house, Alan, my friend's boyfriend, I said, "Hey, listen, I know this is like might be a weird ask, but can I take a bath?" And he goes, did you just ask me to take a bath? And I was like, yeah, don't make it weird, dude. I've been like vomiting for, 14 hours. Like, yeah, can I please take a bath? So he goes, yeah. And he makes me uncomfortable about it. So he takes me down this long hallway full of artwork and puts me in this crap bathroom that's obviously the maid's room, which has like a tiny bathtub that looks like it's in a Motel 6. And I take my bath, and I found a bag of Epsom salt under the sink. And then afterward, I put on a fluffy hotel robe, and I'm giving myself a self-guided tour of this guy's house, looking at his art and stuff. And I wander into his master bedroom, and I notice he has a prehistoric giant clam bathtub. And I'm like, this mother effer. I can't believe if I had a F this guy. So anyway, then the shaman comes over. He's like, hey, we're all having a little breakfast. It'll be the first food. So I go and I eat some blueberries and some chocolate and some raw almonds. And then I was just like, hey, you guys, I got to go. Thanks for the experience. I got a thing. And my friend goes, what do you mean you have a thing? And I was like, I have a thing I have to go to. She goes, what thing did you schedule after ceremony? I said, I'm getting a massage at the Bel Air. And she goes, what a great idea. We should see if they have room for all of us. And I go, no. I called like a week ago. They're fully booked because I just wanted to get away from this. So I go and I get my massage for 2 hours. I fall asleep on the table, and I get home and I light one up. And I'm sitting around, and then my friend calls me, and she's like, so what did you think of ceremony? I said, I think if you offered me a steamer trunk full of money, if you offered me $1 million to take that stuff again, I would say no thank you, and I could really use $1 million right now. I'm not like you. And then she's like, and I don't know I'm on speaker, and she goes, what'd you think of Alan? I said, F Alan! And I didn't know I was on speaker. And I hear them both laughing, and he goes, wait, why F me? And I said, you have a giant clam bathtub. You put me in the maid's room. And he goes, wait, what? I go, you have a giant clam. If somebody asked me to take a bath and I had a prehistoric fossil of a giant clam that could hold a Catholic family, I would be like, oh, do I have a bathtub for you? Come with me. Let me show you my bathtub. But not you. You put me in the maid's room. You gave me the crap bathtub. You have a clam, Alan. F you, Alan. Because I had to stick to my guns. So they're dying laughing. And we're totally cool. And I run into this guy at like art shows. And I'll see him and he'll be like, hey, Scott. I'll be like, F you, Alan. You have a giant clam. And everyone will be like, what's he talking about? And then we'll tell the story about his thing. And he goes, well, my clam is like half inside and out, half outside. And I didn't want you to be cold. And I'm like, whatever. F you, Alan.